Hey everyone, it's Mojaxx back in the DJcity UK lab. One thing which I try and never do on the channel is say that something is definitively the best product in its category, for two reasons. Firstly, these videos hang around for a long time and it's quite possible that the thing is the best today could be blown out of the water by something better just a few weeks down the line. And secondly, it's like with a car, you can't definitively say this is the best car. In the same way, you can't say this is the best turntable, the best mixer, because everyone has their own needs, their own requirements. What is best for me might not be best for you. However, as you would imagine, in my private life, I do get asked quite often by friends what they should buy in a certain category. And in the past couple of years, every time someone has asked me for which new turntables they should look at, the top of my list has been the Reloop RP-7000. So this video is going to cover two topics really. Firstly, why the original 7000 was my recommendation, and secondly, looking at whether this new Mark II model that I have here is going to continue in that vein. Is this going to be my most recommended turntable moving forward? Let's find out. Both the original and Mark II versions of the RP-7000 are examples of the handpin super OEM type of turntable, and as always, I think it's important to explain what that means for the uninitiated. Handpin are an original equipment manufacturer, OEM, based in Taiwan, who, around 15 years ago, released the DJ5500, a turntable which has gone on to form the base template of at least a dozen models released by companies you know, like the Stanton 150s, the Pioneer DJ PLX 1000, and the Audio-Technica LP1240. The reason for that is that actually creating a direct drive turntable suitable for DJs from the ground up is really quite difficult. And so lots of brands took the superb high torque motor and solid tone arm of the handpin and turned it into products of their own. As time has gone on, this usage of the super OEM template has become more common knowledge and in my opinion should not be viewed in a negative way at all. Companies can customize and add unique features to the base table all they want, like with the MIDI controls on the RP-8000, but as a buyer, you know you're going to get a long-lasting, reliable, high-performance table whenever you buy a super OEM. So with all the other supers out there, why was the RP-7000 my suggested buy? Well, firstly, it was simple, with no odd features to confuse anyone, and secondly, it was well priced. Wherever you were in the world, it was around the $500 range, which puts it firmly in the lower tier of super OEM pricing. I reviewed it here on the channel a few years back and liked it a lot, and since then a number of people have bought them based off my recommendation, and I've heard no complaints, except for my buddy P who moaned there's no 45 adapter hole to put his dicers into. So what's new with the 7000 Mark II? Not a lot, but it's all positive. Firstly, the cabinet has more rubber reinforcement inside, making the new model around 2 kilograms heavier than the first. This should help with isolation and feedback reduction, although I didn't really have issues with the Mark I there anyway. One set that I recommended went into a bar install and they've performed just fine, but any improvement in that area is always welcome. The second big change is with the Tonearm. It's a tweaked design with an aluminium main tube which is seriously dead when it comes to resonance. That's great for sound quality. The height adjustable bass is also switched up and has a more high quality feel than the old one. Everything about the arm feels really nice and it has great tracking performance. Just one thing to note, the arm does have a different mass from the old one, and Reloop are using a smaller, lighter counterweight. This works fine when you're running regular DJ carts at typical weights, but if you want to run a hi-fi cart for home listening at very low tracking forces, you might find yourself running out of adjustment. Even trying to run this Shure M44G at 2 grams has the counterweight hanging half off the back. Reloop do have a heavier alternative counterweight available as a spare though. It's designed for their Turn 5 hi-fi deck, and that will let you run heavier carts at much lighter weights. The torque has been tweaked slightly, but not increased. It still tops out at 4.5 kilograms per centimeter, which is plenty, but now the lower range has been raised from 1.6 to 2.8. This allows for a more precise adjustment, and I can't see many people bemoaning the lack of ability to run at a super low torque. It's a positive change in my opinion. The performance of the brushless Super OEM motor is as good as it's ever been. No, the wow and flutter specs aren't as low as a 1200, but in the real world for DJ use, perfectly acceptable. Startup time is whip fast and there is a brake adjustment so you can set the speed of that to your own taste. The platter is similarly familiar, chunky and rubber lined for resonance control. I was amused to notice the rubber even has the handpin model number DJ5500 moulded into it. Not something I've noticed on a Super OEM before, but I'm sure it's on many others. Some folks are not fans of the digital pitch on Super OEMs as it feels different from a 1200 and combined with the motor can overcompensate quite aggressively when you pitch bend. But I've always been happy with it. After a bit of time spent playing, it's easy enough to adjust to the way it behaves. It has no center click, just a reset button, so there's no weirdness around 0. And when it comes to ranges, you have 8, 16 and 50% options, which should be enough for anybody, especially as the table can do 78 RPM if you hold down both speed selection buttons at once. Moving around the 7000 Mark II, there's also a reverse button and replaceable LED target light, all good. The 2 start-stop buttons will be a godsend for some and an annoyance for others. I lean towards a 45 adapter hole myself, but many turntablists will be much happier with the 2 buttons, each to their own there. The connections are recessed into the back of the body of the deck, although not quite far enough that you can get away without using right-angle cables, although those are supplied. The 7000 Mark II has switchable voltage and has a built-in preamp to allow it to be switched to line-level output. The issue with this is that turning off power to the motor for a wind down also then turns off the preamp, so it kills the sound dead. For that reason, I always prefer the phono output, but a line output can save the day in some situations, so I'm glad to see it. The deck is internally grounded, but also has a ground hookup as well, which again I'm glad to see, just in case it comes in handy. So there you go, my take on the RP-7000 Mark II from Reloop. Is this going to be my most recommended turntable moving forward? Possibly. And I've got to say that because I have a couple of other turntables here in the lab on review right now, which it might be that I prefer those. We'll see. But if someone comes to me and says, I've been looking for some new turntables, been checking out the Mark IIs, are they a good buy? My answer is going to be definitely they are. They are really my favorite example of a Super OEM that's out there right now. So you've got the improved isolation over the previous model. Well, I didn't really have a problem with the old one, but it's always good to see improvements there. The Tonearm is a definite upgrade. You know, the lack of resonance in there is fantastic. And they've got all the features of the Super OEMs that I like. They haven't taken anything away. So you've got the reverse, the adjustable torque, the adjustable brake. You've got the line output, which is dead handy. Like generally I'll run in the phono level output because I like to be able to do wind downs with the power off switch, but it's great to have a line output as an option should you require it. The digital pitch can take some adjustment. If all you've ever used is a 1200, then it does feel and kind of perform in a slightly different way from a 1200, but it's digital, not analog. That's how it is. And I think really anyone can adjust to that with a bit of practice. And overall, they're just a great solid example of a pro turntable. You can't really ask for more. Now they haven't even like gouged on the price. You're talking about the same kind of pricing as the older model. So around about $500 each in the US or 400 euros, which I think is great. They haven't pumped up the price loads just because it's a new model. And overall, it's a reliable performer. It won't let you down. I think this is a great choice for anyone who's looking for a turntable, whether that be at the beginner end, you know, or experienced DJs looking for a pro level table. These will not disappoint. Thank you for watching today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and hit the little bell icon to make sure you get notifications whenever DJcity drop a new video in this series or all of our other series that we've got going on as well. I'll see you soon.